Have you ever felt broken, betrayed, or defeated, thinking life has given you more than you can handle? What if I told you that every scar, every failure, and every heartbreak you've endured is not a curse? It's a message, a signal, a key to unlock your greatest potential. Today, I'm going to show you how to take that very pain, that very struggle, and turn it into a force so powerful that it transforms your life forever. If you listen closely, by the end of this speech, you won't just see pain differently. You'll see purpose in everything you've been through. Pain is universal, but purpose is a choice. Every person, no matter who they are, will face moments of struggle, heartbreak, or disappointment. Pain does not discriminate. It comes to the wealthy and the poor, the strong and the weak, the famous and the unknown. At some point in life, everyone will encounter a challenge that shakes them to their core, a loss that leaves them questioning their worth, or a failure that makes them doubt their abilities. This is the inescapable truth of being human. Pain is unavoidable. It is a part of the journey, a natural force that reminds us that we are alive, growing, and learning. But here is the key difference that separates those who rise from those who remain stuck. While pain is universal, purpose is a choice. Pain in itself is not the enemy. Pain is merely a signal, a teacher, a mirror reflecting the areas of our lives that require attention, growth, and understanding. Yet, so many people allow pain to become their identity. They let it define who they are, limit what they can achieve, and determine how they perceive the world. They carry it like a heavy burden, letting it dictate their every decision, every thought, and every step. But pain does not have to control you. You have the power to decide how it shapes your life. You can choose to let it break you, or you can choose to let it build you. That choice, the decision to rise above suffering and create meaning from it, is the very essence of purpose. Purpose is what transforms mere survival into true living. It is the light that guides you through the darkest moments, the compass that points you toward a life of impact and fulfillment. While pain comes without warning and without asking for permission, purpose is something you actively embrace. It is a deliberate choice to see beyond your immediate struggles and to focus on the greater mission you are meant to serve. When you choose purpose, pain loses its power to paralyze you. It becomes fuel, energy that drives you forward, motivation to achieve more, and determination to overcome obstacles that once seemed impossible. Choosing purpose is not always easy. It requires courage, self-awareness, and unwavering faith in your ability to rise above circumstances. It demands that you look inward, confront your fears, and decide that your story will not be defined by what has hurt you, but by what you do with what you have endured. It is a decision to take responsibility for your life, even when external forces seem unfair, and to find meaning in experiences that once seemed meaningless. Purpose gives suffering a reason, pain a direction, and adversity a meaning that extends beyond the moment. When you embrace this truth, you realize that no pain is wasted. Every failure, every heartbreak, every moment of disappointment becomes a building block for your destiny. You begin to see that the struggles you once feared or resented are actually shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate person. You start to understand that the same pain that could have destroyed you is now empowering you to live a life of significance. Pain is universal, and it will come to everyone, but the choice to live with purpose is yours alone. It is the difference between a life lived in despair and a life lived with impact. By choosing purpose, you take control of your story, reclaim your power, and transform your struggles into stepping stones toward a life that truly matters. Pain is inevitable, but purpose is always within your reach, if you are willing to choose it today. Every struggle carries a hidden lesson. Life is not meant to be smooth, and it is not meant to hand us success without challenges. The very obstacles you face, the failures, the betrayals, the rejections, and the disappointments are not random occurrences. They are carefully placed experiences designed to teach you something crucial about yourself. about others and about the world around you. Most people encounter difficulties and allow themselves to be consumed by frustration, anger, or despair, failing to recognize that within every struggle lies an opportunity for growth. Word. The moment you begin to see your challenges as lessons rather than punishments, your perspective shifts and your life begins to change. Struggles are often disguised as setbacks. You may lose a job, face a broken relationship, or experience a personal failure that seems devastating at the moment. It is natural to feel pain, confusion, and even resentment. But if you look deeper, you will find that every struggle contains wisdom waiting to be uncovered. Each difficult experience is a teacher, and every lesson learned equips you with the tools you need to navigate life more effectively. What feels like suffering in the present can become clarity in the future. It can reveal patterns, highlight areas that need improvement, and show you the strengths you didn't know you had. The key is to adopt the mindset of a learner, not a victim. Victims see struggles as unfair, random, and crushing, while learners see struggles as opportunities to grow, adapt, and evolve. This perspective allows you to extract meaning from pain and transform experiences that could have broken you into experiences that build you. When you embrace the idea that every challenge carries a hidden lesson, you begin to approach life differently. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what is next? Moreover, struggles teach you resilience. They show you how to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear and when the world seems against you. They reveal the strength you didn't know you had, the courage to face uncertainty, and the patience to wait for breakthroughs that may not come immediately. They also teach humility, reminding you that life is bigger than any single moment and that setbacks are part of the journey rather than the end of the road. Each struggle becomes a chapter in the story of your growth, shaping your character, sharpening your mind, and fortifying your spirit. Another hidden lesson in struggle is empathy. When you endure pain and face challenges, you gain the ability to understand and relate to others in ways you never could before. Your struggles teach you compassion, patience, and the importance of support, allowing you to become a source of strength for those who are experiencing similar hardships. What may have seemed like an unnecessary burden becomes a tool to inspire, guide, and uplift others. When you accept that every struggle carries a lesson, where you stop resisting life and start embracing it fully, you see that hardships are not obstacles designed to destroy you, but rather experiences designed to shape you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Life does not waste pain, it uses it to teach, guide, and prepare you for your ultimate purpose. Your challenges are not setbacks. They are setups for your success. The moment you uncover the hidden lessons in your struggles, you unlock the power to rise above them and transform your life in ways you never thought possible. Acceptance is the first step to transformation. Until you are willing to acknowledge your pain, your struggles, and your disappointments, you remain trapped by them. Denial may feel like protection, but it only prolongs the hurt. Pretending you're not wounded doesn't make the wound disappear. It only allows it to deepen beneath the surface. True healing, true growth, and true transformation begin when you face your reality with honesty. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It doesn't mean you're okay with the betrayal, the loss, or the injustice. It simply means you're choosing to no longer run from it. You're choosing to confront it head on, to stop hiding behind distractions, and to own your story. When you accept what has happened, you take the first step toward reclaiming your power. You shift from being a passive observer of your life to an active participant in your healing. Acceptance allows you to say, yes, this happened to me. Yes, I hurt, but I will not allow it to define the rest of my life. That's when change begins. Not when the pain stops, but when you stop resisting it. Because what you resist persists, but what you face begins to fade. You cannot transform what you refuse to acknowledge. If you want to turn your pain into purpose, you must first admit that it exists. That moment of courage, of facing your truth without shame or fear, is the moment your transformation begins. Acceptance is not weakness, it is strength. It is the foundation upon which purpose is built. And once you accept where you are, nothing can stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. Reflection allows you to see opportunities in adversity. Most people go through painful experiences and try to move on as quickly as possible. They suppress, avoid, and distract themselves from the discomfort. But pain without reflection is wasted pain. Adversity is not just something to survive, it's something to study. It's a teacher, and if you're willing to pause, sit with your pain, and ask the right questions, you'll uncover truths about yourself and your life that you would have never seen in comfort. Reflection is the bridge between struggle and wisdom. It turns chaos into clarity. Word. It's how you shift from being a victim of your circumstances to becoming a student of your experiences. When you reflect, you stop asking, word, why did this happen to me? And you start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That one shift changes everything. It rewires your mindset from blame to responsibility, from defeat to determination. Every disappointment contains a lesson. Every failure reveals a blind spot. Every heartbreak exposes something about your values, your patterns, or your boundaries. Word. But you will never see those lessons unless you take the time to reflect. Reflection demands honesty. Word. You have to be willing to look at your life and admit what's working and what isn't. You have to admit your part in situations, not to blame yourself, word, but to reclaim your power. When you reflect, you take inventory, not just of what happened, but of how you responded. That's where growth comes from. That's how patterns are broken, how healing begins, and how purpose is found. Without reflection, we repeat the same cycles, get stuck in the same traps, and wonder why nothing changes. But with reflection, even your darkest days become stepping stones to a brighter future. It's in reflection that you start noticing the doors adversity tried to open. Word. Maybe that job loss was the nudge you needed to finally pursue your real passion. Maybe that heartbreak was clearing space for someone better, or revealing a need to heal parts of yourself that you kept ignoring. Word. Maybe that financial struggle taught you discipline and gratitude in a way abundance never could. Without reflection, these moments look like punishment. Word. But with reflection, you see that adversity was never there to destroy you. It was trying to realign you. Adversity often pushes us into places we would have never gone voluntarily. It stretches us beyond our comfort, forces us to confront what we've been avoiding, and demands that we grow in ways we didn't know we needed. But reflection is what turns that discomfort into transformation. It's the intentional pause that allows you to gather wisdom from your wounds and direction from your detours. It turns survival into strategy. The truth is, life is always speaking. Your challenges are trying to teach you something valuable. But you'll never hear it if you never stop to listen. Reflection is the practice of listening deeply, not just to what happened, but to what it means, to what it's shaping in you, to what it's preparing you for. You weren't meant to just go through adversity, you were meant to grow through it. So after every fall, every failure, every moment that feels like it broke you, stop and reflect. Ask, what did this teach me about myself? What did it reveal about others? What will I do differently moving forward? That's how you turn pain into purpose. Not just by surviving, but by reflecting, learning, and then using that knowledge to rise higher than ever before. In reflection, adversity becomes your advantage. Action turns lessons into life-changing results. Insight alone is never enough. You can read every book, reflect deeply, and gather profound wisdom from your experiences. But if you never move, if you never act, transformation will remain just an idea. Action is the bridge between knowledge and change. It's where intentions are tested, where growth takes root, and where healing becomes real. You can't think your way into a new life. You must act your way into it. Many people get stuck in a cycle of understanding, but never applying word. They know why they're stuck. They know what went wrong. They even know what needs to change. But they wait for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect situation. And in that waiting, their purpose gets delayed. Pain taught them something valuable, but they never used it word. Growth whispered a direction, but they never walked in it. The truth is, no amount of knowledge will change your life until you put it into practice. Action doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be small, it can be quiet. It can be as simple as setting a boundary, waking up earlier word. Starting the business, applying for the job, ending the toxic relationship, or making that phone call. What matters is that you move. Movement is where momentum begins. Even if you're unsure, even if you're afraid, even if you feel unprepared, take the step. Clarity often comes after action, not before. Waiting to feel 100% ready is often just fear in disguise. You must turn your pain into power, and power only emerges through action. If you've learned something from your struggle, use it. Apply it to your decisions, your goals, your habits. Let it guide how you speak, how you show up, how you lead, how you love. When you act on what life has taught you, word, you honor your pain by not letting it go to waste. You turn your wounds into wisdom, your mess into a message, and your breakdowns into breakthroughs, word. Action is what separates dreamers from doers. Everyone wants to grow, but not everyone is willing to move. Real change takes more than desire. It takes discipline. It takes consistency. It takes doing what's uncomfortable again and again until your new habits reshape your identity. And yes, you will stumble. You will doubt yourself. You will be tempted to retreat back into safety, word. But every time you act in alignment with your purpose, no matter how small the step, you become stronger. Think of the people you admire, the ones who have transformed their pain into something powerful. They didn't just talk about it. They didn't stay stuck in reflection. They acted. They built, they served, they showed up even when it was hard, word. Their lives changed because they turned their insight into impact. And that same choice is available to you. You don't have to have it all figured out to begin. Just begin. Start where you are with what you have. Use the lessons you've gathered, the strength you've developed, and the fire that adversity lit inside you, and act. Let your life be a living testimony that pain didn't stop you. It shaped you. That struggle didn't define you, it refined you. That you didn't just learn, you lived what you learned. Because in the end, it's not the pain that changes you, it's what you do with it. Action is the proof that you've grown. It's the evidence of purpose. It's the only way your life becomes the story you were born to live. Your scars can inspire and empower others. The very things you thought disqualified you, the pain you hid, the wounds you tried to forget, the parts of your story that felt too broken to share, those are the things that carry power. Not power to impress, but power to impact, power to heal, power to connect. Your scars are proof that you've survived something that tried to destroy you. And when you stop hiding them, word, when you begin to speak from them rather than about them, they become more than reminders of the past. They become bridges of hope for others, word. So many people walk around wearing masks, pretending they're okay, thinking they're the only ones struggling. They think everyone else is strong, confident, unshaken. But what they need isn't perfection. They need authenticity. They need someone who's been through the storm and made it out. They need someone who can say, I know what that pain feels like. I've been there, and I'm still standing. That kind of truth doesn't come from theory. It comes from scars, word. And it carries more weight than anything polished ever could. Your scars don't make you weak. They make you relatable, word. They allow people to see themselves in your journey. And when people feel seen, they begin to believe that healing is possible for them, too, word. That breakthrough is within reach. That the pain they're carrying doesn't have to be the end of their story. What you've survived may not have been fair. It may have hurt deeply. But it gave you a gift: wisdom, empathy, resilience. And now you get to decide what to do with it. You can keep it to yourself, or you can use it to lift someone else. Every time you speak life into someone who's hurting, you take your past and turn it into purpose. Every time you encourage someone not to give up, you remind them that scars are not signs of weakness. They're signs of healing. They are reminders that pain was real, but it didn't win. You don't need a perfect life to make a difference. You need a real one. People are drawn to truth, not performance. When they hear your story, the raw, honest version, they don't see shame, they see strength. They don't see failure, they see faith. And in that moment, something powerful happens. They begin to hope again. They begin to imagine that maybe, just maybe, they can overcome too. Never underestimate the power of your story. You went through it for a reason. You survived for a reason. You didn't come out on the other side just to move on and forget it ever happened. You came through so you could reach back and help someone else rise. That's the beauty of scars. They're not just personal. They're communal. They connect us, remind us, and empower us. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to share your truth. You have no idea who's watching, who's listening, who's barely holding on, and needs to know they're not alone. Your healing becomes someone else's hope. Your journey becomes someone else's roadmap. And your scars become someone else's strength. So don't hide them. Don't cover them up. Wear them with honor. They are not signs of failure. They are signs that you fought, you endured, and you overcame. Let your scars speak. Let them shine. Let them remind the world that pain is real, but so is the power to rise from it, and that power lives in you. Pain is a stepping stone, not a stopping point. It's easy to believe that when you're hurting, your journey has ended, that the heartbreak, the failure, the disappointment is a wall that blocks your progress. But pain was never meant to be a destination. It was meant to be part of the process. Life doesn't break you to bury you. It breaks you to build you. Every painful moment you faced was not the end of your story. It was a step, a step toward becoming who you were meant to be, even if it didn't feel like it in the moment. When we go through pain, our first instinct is often to stop, to shut down, to withdraw from life and question everything. That's normal. Pain slows you down. It demands your attention. But if you're not careful, it can also convince you to quit, to stop dreaming, stop loving, stop believing, and stop growing. The danger is not in the pain itself, but in how you interpret it. Pain isn't saying, this is where you fall and stay down. Pain is saying, this is where you dig deeper, where you learn, where you stretch, where you rise. No great story ever came without struggle. No meaningful achievement ever arrived without resistance. Look back at your life, and you'll see that the most defining moments didn't come during the easy times. They came when you were uncomfortable, when you were tested, when you didn't know if you would make it. And yet, here you are. You've made it through things you thought would destroy you. That alone proves that pain didn't stop you. It shaped you. It strengthened your resolve. It forced you to grow in ways you never would have chosen on your own. Every painful experience brings with it an opportunity to evolve. It reveals what you're made of. It pushes you beyond what you thought were your limits. It strips away what no longer serves you. And it clears the space for something new to emerge. You may not have asked for the pain, but it carries within it a purpose that comfort never could provide. Pain refines your focus. It awakens you. It shakes you free from complacency and invites you to step into a new version of yourself. If you treat pain like a wall, it becomes an excuse. If you treat it like a step, it becomes momentum. The difference is how you choose to respond. You can either say, this is too much, I'm done. Or you can say, this hurts, but I'm not finished yet. That choice, that mindset, is what separates those who break under pressure from those who break through it. Every time you keep going when it hurts, every time you choose to believe when nothing makes sense, you are taking a step forward. Maybe it's a small step, maybe it's shaky, maybe it's slower than you'd like, but it's a step, and that step leads to another, and that's how transformation happens. Not in giant leaps, but in faithful steps taken through the valley of pain. So the next time you find yourself in the middle of a painful season, remind yourself, this is not the finish line. This is a step, a difficult, stretching, sometimes confusing step, but still a step toward purpose, toward strength, toward the future that's waiting for you. Don't stop here. Don't sit in the sorrow so long that you forget how to move. Stand up, Keep walking. Let pain push you forward, not hold you back. It's not your prison, it's your path, Transforming pain into purpose is the ultimate path to resilience and success. It is one thing to survive what has hurt you. It is another thing entirely to rise from it with clarity, strength, and the determination to build something greater, When you take your pain and turn it into purpose, you step into a higher version of yourself. You stop seeing life as something that happens to you, and you start seeing it as something you're actively shaping. That shift is where resilience is born. That's where real success begins. Not just the kind that looks good on the outside, but the kind that is rooted deep within, unshakable and authentic. Success that comes without pain often lacks depth. It's in struggle that character is built. It's through adversity that you develop the grit to stay the course, the empathy to lead with heart, and the humility to remember where you came from. Pain has a way of breaking down everything shallow and leaving only what's real. When you transform it into purpose, you carry that realness into everything you do. Your work has meaning, your relationships have depth, your life has direction. There are people who spend years running from their pain, trying to numb it, silence it, or pretend it never happened. But those who rise above it are the ones who choose to lean in, to ask, what can I do with what I've been through? And that question is powerful. It turns victims into visionaries. It turns suffering into service. It turns ordinary people into extraordinary leaders, not because they were spared from the storm, but because they walked through it and decided to build something from the wreckage. This kind of purpose is not about perfection, It's not about having everything figured out. It's about deciding that your life will not be wasted on pain alone, That what broke you won't be the final word. That you'll take what was meant for harm and turn it into healing. Not just for you, but for others. That's where real fulfillment comes from. It's not in the applause, or the recognition, or the material reward. It's in knowing that your life, with all its wounds and struggles, is helping someone else rise. You don't need a perfect past to have a powerful future, What you need is a willingness to show up, to bring your whole self, scars and all, into your purpose. Because people are inspired by truth, They're changed by vulnerability. They're moved by someone who doesn't just speak about purpose, but lives it through their example. The strongest Most resilient people you'll ever meet are those who've taken the hardest moments of their lives and built meaning from them, They didn't escape pain, they transformed it. And because they did, they now walk with power. Not arrogance, but a quiet confidence that comes from knowing who they are and what they've overcome. So if you want to live a life that truly matters, don't waste your pain. Use it. Turn it into fuel. Let it sharpen your vision. Let it deepen your purpose. Let it be the reason you fight harder, love deeper, and lead stronger. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build when you stop letting pain define your story and start letting it empower your purpose. This is the path, not the easy one, but the real one. Transform your pain into purpose, and you won't just survive, you'll rise, you'll lead, and you'll leave a legacy that outlives the pain.